Hi, welcome to Tuesdays with Terra. I'm Terra Bundance, and today I'm going to talk a little bit more about talents, gifts, and abilities. And we're going to do an EFT process. And this is going to be a two-part video. So this week we're going to do the EFT. Next week we're going to do a meditation to kind of help solidify the EFT. And the reason I'm splitting it up is because it's going to go a little too long if I do both in one. So be prepared to do the EFT this week and then the meditation next week, or you can wait to do both back to back. So let's get started. So we know that EFT, those of you who have been following me for some time, EFT is emotional freedom technique. And I just do the basic, simple, original EFT where we tap on our chop point first to kind of solidify the phrase that we're saying. And then we go through the process of tapping the top of the head, the eyebrow points, the side of the eye, underneath the eye, under the nose, under the bottom lip, the collarbone, and under the arm. And then go back, starting all over again through the process. And while we're going through that process, we are also remembering to say something around the phrase that we're trying to shift in our brain pattern, in our DNA. So, starting off, when you think about your gifts, talents, and abilities, how confident are you in owning and claiming and living out loud all of your gifts and talents and abilities? So that can be anything from what you love to do and what you're really good at, some such as singing or to any of your talents, the things that you do really well, running, engineering, math, any of the arts, things that you just naturally are able to do that show up in the world, that are easy to see, easy to visually recognize. And then it could be on the other end of the spectrum, things like ESP and being an empath and being highly sensitive, being clairvoyant, clairaudient, being a medium or a channel, things that people don't easily recognize as well. And so when we talk about this spectrum, anything along this spectrum, how do you feel about claiming and owning any of your gifts and talents and abilities? Let's call one being really low on the spectrum of confidence, and 10 being really high on the spectrum of confidence of owning and claiming your gifts and talents and abilities. So if you're anywhere along this thread of 1 to 10, if you're a 10, then this is probably not the EFT session for you, because we're going to be focusing on completely owning them. Now, if you're a 10 in some, but not in all, then focus on the ones that you aren't as confident about. And what number are you in that realm? So think about that number, 1 being the lowest confidence, 10 being the highest confidence. What along this range number are you? So now that you've thought about it, let's go ahead and tap on the chop point. Could be either hand, doesn't really matter. Tapping on the chop point and saying to yourself, even though I struggle with confidence around my gifts, talents, and abilities, I'm willing to fully and completely accept, love, and embody myself. Even though I'm not very comfortable in claiming my gifts, talents, and abilities, I completely love, honor, and respect myself. Even though I'm not fully comfortable claiming my gifts, talents, and abilities and the confidence around those, I am fully willing to accept, love, and honor and respect myself. Okay, so starting with the top of the head, tapping, you can use one, both, either or, hand, doesn't matter. Even though I've got this struggle around claiming and accepting my gifts, talents, and abilities, I completely love, honor, and accept myself. Even though I struggle with claiming and owning my gifts, talents, and abilities, I am willing to completely love, honor, and respect myself. Even though I struggle with owning and claiming my gifts, talents, and abilities out loud in the world around other people, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm struggling a little bit with my confidence around claiming my gifts and talents and abilities on all levels, all of them. I am completely willing to love, honor, and respect and accept myself. Even though I struggle with claiming my gifts, talents, and abilities, I love, honor, and accept myself. Even though I struggle owning and claiming my ability to show up in the world as fully myself with all my gifts, talents, and abilities, I'm willing to completely love, honor, and accept myself. Even though I've struggled over the years with living into my gifts, talents, and abilities on all levels, I completely love, honor, and accept myself. Even though I have struggled over the years and still struggle some with owning and claiming my gifts, talents, and abilities, I completely love, honor, and accept myself. And I'm willing to consider claiming and owning and living into my gifts, talents, and abilities. So take a deep breath, sweep the arms up, tapping the top of the head. And we're going to go ahead and shift gears a little bit, and we're going to focus on the seen talents, the known talents, such as the arts or whatever scientific or mathematic gifts and talents you have, any of the things that other people can see in you and recognize in you and are always complimenting you about. Oh, you have such a great singing voice. Oh, you're so good at art. Wow, you're amazing at math. Oh my gosh, you're so much better than me at fill in the blank. So those things that people see and say in about you, and you also already kind of know about yourself, let's tap those in for now. Even though I have a great ability to do, go ahead and fill in the blank, whatever it is for you, even though I'm really good at these things and I recognize them and other people recognize them in me, I've been struggling a bit with fully owning and claiming and accepting those gifts, talents, and abilities within myself. So these talents that I know of and others see in me, I'm willing to open myself up and honor and respect myself in claiming this as mine. Even though I struggle with specific gifts and talents and abilities around what I'm really good at, I am willing to accept and love and honor myself. So these gifts, talents, and abilities, go ahead and fill in the blank if you want to say the name of them, that I've struggled with owning and claiming fully in the world as mine, I am willing to completely honor, accept, and love myself. These gifts, talents, and abilities that I know about and others know of me that I've struggled with owning and claiming, even though those exist and I am struggling with it, I am completely willing to honor, love, and accept myself. Taking a deep breath, tapping that in. So go ahead and consider for a moment, has the number changed? Is it gone up any where it was a one before, if it was on the low end of the spectrum, or two or three, or even four or five? Has it come up any to the claiming of and acceptance of, which is a 10? Has it come anywhere closer to a 10? If not, then go ahead and keep moving because we're going to move into the unseen gifts and abilities, things like clairvoyance and empathy and being highly sensitive. Any of those gifts that you recognize within yourself, we're going to do that next. We're going to focus on those. So think about the ones that you know of that you have been recognizing throughout the years, but that you've been afraid to let other people see out loud. So let's get started. Tapping the top of the head. Even though I know about these gifts, talents, and abilities, go ahead and name them now if you wish. Being an empath, being highly sensitive, being clairvoyant, being clairaudient, having the gift of tuning into other people's feelings and emotions, being a medium, being a channel. Even though I have struggled with owning and claiming these out loud, I'm willing to completely honor, love, and accept myself. Even though I've struggled with owning my unseen gifts and talents and abilities that others may not know about, I'm willing to completely love, honor, and accept myself. Even though I've struggled with owning these gifts, you can fill in the blank, name them now. I am completely willing to accept, love, and honor myself. Even though I've struggled with being able to accept and own and live into out loud my gifts, talents, and abilities that others may not know of, I am completely willing to love, honor, and accept and respect myself. Notice if you have any deep breaths, or if you have any tears, or if you have any laughter, or coughing, or discomfort, or shift of energy, that this is where you notice a big shift happening within you. And you might notice that the number jumps a pretty good bit. So continue tapping. Even though I've struggled with accepting and living into my gifts, talents, and abilities as a spiritual, psychic, energetic, tuned in, vibrational, aware, empath, highly sensitive person, so and on, name them here. I completely love, honor, and accept myself. Even though I've struggled with owning these gifts, I'm willing to completely honor, accept, and love myself. Even though I've been struggling with fully claiming and owning and living into my gifts, talents, and abilities, I love, honor, and accept myself. And now take a deep breath and really just kind of tap that in. I like to put my hand on top of my head when I'm finished. Close my eyes, take a couple of deep breaths. If you feel like you are not complete, go back and start over with this video and just go through it all again and keep doing this. And if you can do it on your own, press pause and come back here, and we will continue kind of talking a little bit more about what it means to own our gifts. So now that we've kind of embodied a little bit more, we've moved from a low end of the spectrum of confidence to a higher end of the spectrum of confidence around our gifts, talents, and abilities on all levels. If you feel like you need to do this over and over again for individual ones, go ahead and do that. If you feel like it's really just a matter of claiming and owning all of who you are and how you show up differently or special, or whatever other people have noticed about you, if you feel like that's kind of an embodying of all of it, then go ahead and do all of it together. So now that we're here, putting your hands on your heart, taking a couple of deep breaths, and loving yourself into this owning. When we struggle with being ourselves in the world, but we see others who do it and we think, wow, I wish I could be more like that. This is a chance for us to really let ourselves live into that and to let come up whatever is holding us back. So if you recognize anything that might have been holding you back, a belief that you started having when you were a kid, or something that people have told you throughout the years, it's not okay to be that way. It's not okay to be larger than life in this particular aspect or gift. Now's the time to completely shed that energy and fully embody you in the world. We need you in the world. We need each and every one of us that's here to show up into our lives, to show up into our gifts and our abilities and our talents, and really let those come out. Even if you're a quiet person, you can let them come out. You can be a quiet artist. You can be a quiet author. You can be a quiet performer, even. You can do things your way because that's who you're here to be. There's nobody here trying to tell us who we should be. And if they are, it's time for us to start setting boundaries and being clear. I don't believe what you believe about me. And the way we do that is through EFT, through different modes and tools to practice owning and living into our gifts and abilities and accepting who we are. So It is time for us to accept who we are, fully own it and claim it. And when we come back with the next video, we're going to do a meditation to really settle into the new energy and the new things that are showing up for us since we've just done that full EFT session. So thank you for joining me this week. Please join me next week to complete this process and do a solid meditation for claiming and owning who we're here to be. And have a blessed and beautiful day. And thank you for joining me on Tuesdays with Terra.